Hey, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been gone for like 3 months. I would have posted this video like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, but I recorded like 8 hours of content out of the 30 hours that it took me to automate a proposal generator automation in make.com. And since there's so much video to go through, it's taken a while. Also, on day two, uh, I realized that my OBS settings, which is what I'm recording these videos with, they recorded two forms of audio at the same time. So you hear this annoying delay. So what I wanted to do is provide a bunch of value up front in the actual working final product before just showing you like the dirty, you know, like just raw creation process and me just kind of figuring things out on the fly, because more value is going to come from you actually seeing the working product and what you know uh, just basically taking what I've learned from this process, to be able to see everything up front. And then if you want to stick around for you know the just in the weeds, um, just figuring everything out on the fly type of stuff, then stick around for that. Understand if you don't, but I feel like that's valuable stuff too. So, what I did and what I've been focusing on recently, and the reason I haven't posted in a while is because I've been doing a few vibe coding things and suffering from shiny object syndrome, which I think all of us are, because there's just so many cool new tools and new models and all these things coming out. But I wanted to I got to a point where I started learning AI automation with Make.com and N8N. They're surfacing a lot now after I learned a lot about it. And with my history in sales and just understanding how to use AI and speak to AI, and if I don't know what to do, ask questions, and being willing to pay for the more expensive models, like Claude Max, and also just downgraded from GPT Pro, which I had for like 6 months. I'm just willing to put the money out there that it will take to be able to use the tools that are going to remove as much friction as possible from making money with AI. So I'm still going to vibe code some stuff on this channel, but I think that what's more valuable right now is how can we make money with AI, because a lot of people are focused on, let me just, hop into Lovable or Bolt and just build this thing, you know, build an app or something like that. That where does that go? Like all of these apps that people are building, like that actually go somewhere, which are very few versus how many are made, are suffering vulnerabilities and getting hacked. So instead of doing that, the seemingly boring stuff that actually makes you money is actually really interesting. So I created a proposal generating automation for myself for the services that I sell. And so I just wanted to show my process on how I built it. So let's just dive in. So what this does is it's a make.com scenario that takes a Typeform input on a sales call. So I hop on a discovery call with somebody and I have questions that I ask, and I take the transcript from that call along with the client name, company name, the way that we're going to do like payment, and there's just a few things that we put in an initial form to then feed into AI, and then piece by piece, instead of doing like a whole prompt, just one shot into GPT or Claude, we're going to systematically pull out information on a very granular level, and it's going to give us better output. So, so why use it, right? So, what I've found is that a lot of businesses that are creating proposals to sell services to their clients, it takes them like 4 hours. I've worked with a few clients now that it seems like 4 hours is about the average amount of time it takes to build a proposal. So if you can automate that process, there's a lot of value there because it frees up your time to be able to take on more clients, right? So what this does is it pulls in the input from my type form. It's just 5 questions, and it is connected via a webhook, which I'll show you how that's done. I have my hourly rate in here. It's since doubled because I'm realizing the value that I'm actually providing. We've got extract the data, pricing definitions and everything to just kind of make it so the AI doesn't have to do so much of the heavy lifting on calculating pricing. And then we generate proposal content, create a mermaid diagram, and send that to myself via email, which I can then put into Claude, screenshot, and put in my PandaDoc proposal. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show you step by step what this looks like and why it's beneficial, and then actually run the demo for you. So let me just make sure to, we don't need that open. Okay, I've got that and the example. Okay, cool. So the Typeform webhook. So also I'm using Comet Browser. This thing is amazing. I just started working on a new Typeform. So I just started working on a new proposal that needs a new let's see, okay, I'm signed in. So it needs a new we needed to create a new proposal based off of this form. And so what I did is I pulled up this assistant and I said, I need to be able to create a form that's a duplicate of this and use it as a template moving forward. And I need you to also help me create a webhook that points to make.com. And it did all of that for me. So Comet Browser is pretty rad. I'm glad I've been paying for Perplexity as long as I have. But basically once you create a form, you go to connect webhooks, and then you turn the webhook on. This one's for the new one, so I'm not using that right now because it's not set up yet. And then every time that this is submitted to here, and you've gotten your, you go show address, and you pull that into Typeform. That's what this address is. Then it knows where to pull data from to then send to the rest of the flow. So the reason that these make.com and end-to-end scenarios work so well is because you're able to fine-tune every little piece of the puzzle. You're not just 3D printing a car. You're putting together all the parts that create the car that help it to run smoothly because you worked at a granular level. So what this does on PandaDoc is a very smooth, they take all the friction out of doing proposals. So what a lot of folks will do in these industries is they'll create a proposal. After the discovery call, it'll take them 4 hours to do it. There's already that gap of time for the excitement meter to kind of dip down. They get the thing sent out to their client. Their client reviews the proposal, and if it looks good, then they're supposed to then say, yes, this looks good, go ahead and send me an invoice. Then you have to receive that message and in a timely fashion, send back an invoice, have them pay, which is a whole nother separate process. This takes all the friction out of it. We basically go from the discovery call to within 5 minutes sending this proposal. All these variables are filled in and customized based off of what happened in the transcript of the call. And then we've got the total cost here. We've got signatures ready to go, and there are roles, client and consultant. And then we've got a payment via Stripe actually integrated right into the proposal document. So it takes all the friction out because you literally just go use this. This shows up in documents. And then all you have to do is just click send once it's actually filled out. I've already sent this, so this is an actual one. So you click send, and you just put in the person's email address and they sign it very seamlessly. So let's actually see this in action, right? What I want to do is go through each of these nodes individually. So what's coming through the Typeform, right? So we have, first off, we have a system prompt for this extract data module. So you are analyzing a sales discovery call transcript. Your task is to extract and categorize the information into 4 key sections based on the topics discussed, regardless of the specific phrasing used. These can also, change. It can be more than 4 sections, but kind of the basis of a lot of proposals is what's the problem. And so we're just putting in here, what are some examples of things that you'll want to pull from this transcript that are problems that we want to fix? Key themes aside from, the specifics that we covered. Context, just any, like, what are they doing right now? What have they done in the past to try to fix things? What's happening in their market or their niche that is like preventing them from being more competitive? Industry specific factors affecting this situation. Then we have pricing. We want to talk about what the ROI is, what they're currently paying their employees, or what cost and payment is going into their process, and what's the solution. So what's the proposed solution to their problem based off of all that context. And then the extraction instructions will categorize the information. It's basically just being very, and this is just the system prompt. So this is being very descriptive on what we're actually looking for. And then extract, for the user prompt in here, I have extract discovery call information from this transcript. And so to be able to tell that you're pulling variables correctly you're basically in each of these, you're going to see the history of any additional modules. Lowest is the furthest back in the flow. And so from here in extract the data, we're going extract the discovery call information from this transcript. And so in here, you'll see that mappable answers, like this is where you can actually connect things. Whoops, we don't want to do that. We put in the company name, client name, transcript, pricing model, and time estimate of how long it's going to take. And those are the individual things that are being discussed here. So that's the information that's going to be submitted. We then in here define hourly rate so that we can reference it in the future. What's my current hourly rate? We're doing some math in here. This is the actual verbiage that shows up in the proposal if we're doing an hourly, the hourly option. This will do, this is like a 50% deposit up front and then 50 upon completion. And so it's just saying this is how we're going to calculate that. Generate proposal content is very in-depth. So you're a professional proposal writer. This is a system prompt. Transform the discovery call data into compelling proposal content, right, in a conversational yet professional tone that demonstrates understanding without overselling. A lot of stuff that you're going to see in output of AI is going to be very like ecstatic and sunshiny and everything, but we want like the best way to put it is we want it to be in a Spartan laconic tone. That's just kind of the phrasing that gets the best output. There's a lot of things in here that I had to add as important notes that is going to just be thorough with every single time, because I was running into a lot of issues where it would say, like, it would just put in just it would hallucinate the client name instead of actually pulling it in from the data. There's a lot of things that you'll see in the dirty nitty-gritty part that's going to come after this of me actually building the thing where just things weren't connecting. So it's coming off the call data. So for this, it is so to map the output of another module, you go into usage, right? Choices. You go into choices, and then message content. This is going to be the output, and so you can see what the output is here. And then when you are running these, you can see the you can see, like, while you're building, there will be a little bubble that shows the output when you'll see when I run it, that shows what the output was from each module. Also, something to note is each of these modules, the next module you add, even if it doesn't end up in the same trajectory throughout the flow, it's going to name it the next number just that you've done, regardless of what position it has. So keep that in mind, because when you're mapping these things out, you're going to see stuff like 2 choices. So this was what I created as the second module. I did Typeform and then this, and then some other things that ended up being deleted. Generate proposal content is 4. But when you look at it, it's number 6. But it's not. It's based off of when you actually added it to the scenario in the first place. So create proposal content from the call data. And so this is the output of the extracting data so that it can actually granularly map out what we need to generate the proposal with. We're doing a bunch of critical name extraction, title format, solution title format, because it was like saying the person's name over and over, kind of like a car salesman. We don't want to do that. Pricing rules, this is mapped into lump sum is extracting information there, and then we're doing the math via the deposit amount. So 23 is deposit. So you can see that these are all mapping out. You basically just can fill in the gaps of where where your flow is actually pulling data from. So, and then we got a bunch of JSON at the end. JSON is an excellent JavaScript object notation is an excellent format for passing data along and having it be reliable. So we're basically just still pulling in some variables throughout this whole thing that are going to map to the PandaDoc ultimately. Then for the mermaid diagram, Claude is the best at generating mermaid diagrams, but I had a lot of trouble putting this together in a way that's going to work. I found out ultimately that I needed to extract data that was specifically going to be used to populate the mermaid diagram. I knew that I wanted, problem solution, well, on your side, problem solution, and we want to go, what are the things that we are going to use to address the issue? What's the tech stack? What is the final product going to look like? We're going to do a handoff. It's kind of like a timeline from start to finish. We're going to do training videos on how to use it, and then a handoff, and then the solution is going to be now you have like 24 times faster proposal generation than before. So that's the benefit to having this mermaid diagram. And then so this is actually going into more stuff that we added to the extract node, and then it's telling it how to format. But the best way to get this to show up correctly is I found just to email it to myself, and so it's pulling mappable information. This is the subject line when it shows up in my email, and then I have some critical fixes in here and stuff that's just basically telling it, please create an artifact from this mermaid code after fixing the following common issues. So I basically just chatted with AI repeatedly to chisel down how to format this correctly. And then the idea is this just gets emailed to me so I can copy and paste all in just one block into Claude to then create a mermaid diagram I can screenshot and upload to PandaDoc. Now, PandaDoc has all of these. It automatically, like, this is why I'm using Make, because the PandaDoc destination, the output is, there's no PandaDoc node in N8N. And in here, it sees what variables are actually there. So PandaDoc is awesome with variables. Let's take a look at that. So in your templates, you're going to have variables right here. You can define variables. You can use variables that are already there. I like to use camel case like this, which is first word, lowercase, every additional word after that, uppercase. and you just need to keep them consistent. And this is in square brackets is how it's going to be in PandaDoc, and then proposals or variables in here. When you're not, like if you're doing it in JSON, you're going to be using curly brackets, but if you're mapping them in here, you're just, finding what it is, clicking, looking up current pain points from generate proposal content, because that's the output that's actually going to be populating. You don't want to pull extract data into here. But you can see it's basically mapping out all of these. And then I was in the first place doing I was like uploading an image to Google Drive for the mermaid diagram, but it's extra. It's the 80-20 here is, yes, we can do a little bit of manual work to free ourselves up from trying to add a bunch of complexity of, sending a completed mermaid diagram to Google Drive and then downloading it and all that stuff. It just wasn't working out. So let's give it a test drive. So you want to make sure that it's listening. So we're going to wait for new data. We're going to go in here and we're going to copy the example transcript that I have here. So we're going to go, company name is Biz Incorporated, client name Mitch Smith, transcript, put that in there. Pricing model is going to be deposit, time estimate 15 to 22 hours, just because that's what I have in the transcript. Submit. Now, from the time of submission, 12:25:50, it's going to take like less than a minute. So right now it's pulling the data from here. The transcript, has a decent amount of information that it's passing through to the extract discovery data module. After that, it's going to go through the hourly pricing and deposit to see which one are we doing, how do we do the math. Then it's generating the proposal content, creating the mermaid, deliver mermaid. So it's been 40 seconds. Here's the mermaid. So copy, Claude, paste, PandaDoc, documents, just now. Now, in a perfect world, and something that still needs work, is we want this to be punchier and shorter. But you can see everything's populated. You said you're experiencing a low conversion rate from discovery calls to signed clients, closing 20 to 25% of qualified prospects, significantly below expectations, current pain points, results of the pain, lost deals. That's a lot to lose. Core issue, treating the issue as a sales problem instead of positioning the problem, insufficiently clear value articulation. Why are we doing this now? Very important question to ask. Previous attempts. You want to see what hasn't worked before, because they can basically just tell you how to do things the right way this time around. So what's the solution, right? What's the tech stack? Make.com for workflow automation, PandaDoc for interactive branded proposals, Instantly for personalized nurture email sequences, integration with existing CRM. So this is just pulling in information from that transcript. And then it shows the scope so that we can properly define the scope, because you don't want scope creep. You want to properly define what actually is going to constitute a complete project so that you can get paid. So that's what's handled down here. This is where you'll upload the mermaid diagram. So if I go in here, I go low conversion, 3 to 4 weeks, analyze existing materials, build an automation system, Make.com and PandaDoc. Test, refine, optimize process, train the team, and then basically you just screenshot this, and then we go into here, and let's go screenshot. explode. Whoops, we don't want to do that. Oh, double click, duh. Okay. Boom, looks good. Now the next thing I'm going to be doing is figuring out how to map the actual price that was talked about. It's not always going to be talked about as far as what the final price is going to be in the call. So it's not quite the most important thing right now. But if I go, hourly is 52.74, and then we do 10 hours, it's going to automatically populate that. You just make sure that this is assigned to the right role. So you go create new recipient. You're going to put in the recipient details here. And then when they receive this, they're going to be prompted to sign in. It's a very smooth process. It's very self-explanatory. So this thing, like you'll see on day 2, within just a few minutes, I figured out, like I actually got it populating in PandaDoc. And that was a glorious time. So just technical stuff to note. The first video, like a lot of this is just me stumbling through and just kind of asking Claude Code, what to do next. I was using Cursor with Claude Code just in a random project. Basically, if you want to set up, once you install Claude Code, which that's for a different video, you can go Command J to pull up the terminal and just type in Claude, and it'll show up here. It's so much more robust than using any other options just in browsers. So that's what I was using for a lot of just kind of navigating through everything. The second video, the second day, I had 2 audio inputs recording at the same time for some reason, so I sound like a robot. So my apologies there for me not testing the audio first. I tested the audio first today, and it took me like an hour to get my things configured correctly because they were all messed up, and I don't know why. But now that everything works, I wanted to just show you it in action before showing you the brutal path to success that I took. So I hope you find this valuable, and just let me know in the comments if this is something that you want to see more of. I figure one of the more exciting things to be doing right now is making money with AI, because there's so many ways that you can do that. If you're in sales, that definitely helps. Very good position to be in right now. If you're at least trying things out, testing AI tools, and just kind of trying to stay as much on the cutting edge as you can, but not getting distracted with shiny object syndrome. That's kind of where you want to be. So from here, I'm just going to get the rest of the video started. That's going to be the path of me figuring stuff out. Let's see where we're at right now, because I haven't finished editing it. We'll see how far in we are. Okay, we're at 50 minutes. So, yeah, the final product is probably going to be hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, plus this, so like 2 hours. So if you like more long form content, like that's what I like taking in. I like being able to see all the nitty gritty details, and if that's something you're interested in, perfect, let me know. We'll still be sprinkling in some shorter videos too. Just gonna know that there's a lot of value in being able to just kind of in and out and learn something real quick. But yeah, it's good to be back, and I'll see you on the next video. This is what my proposal looks like right now. I've been building this for months, or at least I built the initial version and tried to put in variables and figure out how I would do this, but it's hard when you don't actually have a proposal to start with. So I have a version that I built out fully. I kind of anonymized it by doing variables for the client name and everything. But I'm just going to take the content from each page, and map out and just show you how I use these AI tools um, uh, to get stuff like this done. So you can have it generate MD files, and then I use Obsidian notes. So then I have the MD files in this vault, and what it does is it lets me actually it will just populates my notes for me. So let's figure out where to start here. So what we want to do is we want to pull from my proposal, an example of what this looks like. So we're gonna start here. There we go. Yep, that's just okay. So I need to create an initial prompt that's going to have, I'm going to have Claude Code kind of map this out for me. So I am creating a template version of my proposal I'm using on PandaDoc, and I'm going to give you the structure of my discovery calls as well as examples of how I like the proposal output to look for each page. So what do we have first, right? We have how the sales calls go. That's a good place to start. So let's do, here is how my sales calls go and the questions I'm going to ask. It's not always going to be exactly like this, but a lot of these questions we're going to try to make sure they show up on as many sales calls as possible. So we're going to take, I need to fill out scope a little more. Okay, we're going to call this proposal prompt OG. Okay. So intro, problem was the problem you're trying to solve. Have you tried solving it before? This is all good. Context, walk me through a customer journey, pricing, scope. I need you to help me develop the scope page, but I'm going to give you some information next on how I would like to structure each of these pages. Let's start with an example proposal that I used with an actual client. There's a title page and I have the variable in PandaDoc labeled. So I just like to methodically go through let's do this. There's a page to have a variable in PandaDoc labeled. When we generate one of these proposals, we need to intelligently create a title and fill it in that variable on PandaDoc. I'm ultimately going to be turning this into a make.com automation, and so the output needs to be consistent. So we're going to do each of these pages. Here is a problem page. This is an example for the solution page. And to answer the question you might have, I am using Aqua Voice for speech to text on my computer. You hold down the function button and it's very good at getting things right. I'd say 90% better than Siri. Siri is just trash at this point with this. I use Wispr Flow on my phone because they now have an integration on iPhone where you can just add it as a keyboard. I was using Wispr Flow on my computer, but I've heard that Aqua Voice does a better job and it is cheaper. The funny thing about that is now I'm paying for both of them because Wispr Flow is the only one on my phone, but sometimes the trade-off is worth it when it comes to paying for stuff like that in a seemingly not so responsible way. then we're going to go mermaid diagram of our workflow. So what I like about Obsidian Notes is the markdown format is just a great way to do things. It looks great. And it's universally used. Okay. So so let's put this. Do I still have that? I don't think I do. Oh wait, maybe in downloads? I don't see it. Which is fine. So, your investment. There are going to be two investment options. One is value-based pricing or savings-based pricing with half due upfront, half due upon completion and delivery of the project. The other is hourly pricing. Below is the verbiage I have for each option, and we need to dynamically populate the pricing page with the version that we're going with. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the half deposit up front, half upon completion option, and every once in a while it will be hourly. Okay. Okay. Just doing a mini divider because it's part of the same section. What I would like to do for each section is figure out what variable names I should be using, and I would like to keep the length of each of these pages as close to what we currently have as possible, but of course it needs to be a little bit dynamic based on what is discussed in the call. So I'm just trying to front load all this context so that we can really get a solid roadmap. Below are the system and user prompts for the current version of a workflow I've been building in make.com. This is a solid initial prompt to give to Claude Code. Cool. Let's just see what it does. I just realized I didn't really define how I want the automation to work. So let's do that. The way I'd like this automation to work is I'm going to have a Typeform trigger where I enter the client name, company name, and transcript. And so that's going to be the input data. That trigger is going to feed to the additional AI nodes that are taking in the data, structuring it properly, and populating the PandaDoc proposal as output. I need it to tell me how to map out these variables. The true test is going to be, is this going to be able to create a full make.com scenario JSON file? That's always kind of the unknown, because especially with make.com, I've found that creating the actual JSON files is really hard for just regular Claude or GPT to do without a bunch of errors happening. Claude's better at it and is better at N8N JSON files, but there's an MCP server that I need to set up for N8N specifically, but N8N doesn't have, it has a Typeform trigger, but it doesn't have the PandaDoc output destination, so I would have to use an HTTP request. I don't really feel like mapping that out if I can just do this in make.com. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. Can you create can you create an MD file and put it in Obsidian so I can see the road map? Being able to just have it put MD files in my Obsidian vault makes it a lot easier to just kind of be in a solid flow. Variable structure and design, title page variable, week 1, week 2. We don't need this. So create a Typeform, make.com scenario build. Sweet. Okay, so this roadmap looks great. Now, help me fill out the PandaDoc proposal with the necessary variables so that I can send PandaDoc output from the make.com scenario to my template. So what are we working on next? Scope of work. So scope, total time estimate. I'll just put this. Okay, phase 1. Yeah, we'll just do this. I like how this is structured. Okay, phase 2. And then it's already like intelligently, well, not necessarily intelligently, it's just this is how it already is. A3 title. And I guess we don't necessarily need a timeline. But the formatting's already there, so this is definitely, I'm feeling better about this. That HTML code was a bit daunting. Investment structure, payment terms. Next steps. Especially with this part, because with this image and everything, it seemed like it wasn't going to be formatting it correctly. So let's see, workflow diagram. Okay, so let's just trust. We're gonna do project is complete. Success criteria. Your investment. Pricing option text. Pricing description. Estimated time to complete the project. So let's actually keep that last text box in here because we already have that formatted the way we want. So, okay, content structure, agreement page, that stays the same. Okay. Updated make.com variable formatting, reference, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So, right as we hit an hour, that's funny. I was going to divide this into the proposal itself and then do the automation next, but we're just going to do it all at once because part of what I want to see in videos like this that I'm making, because this is something I would like to see, like some of this stuff I learned from Maker School, led by Nick Saraev, where like how to, set up an automation in PandaDoc, but it was before I really realized, or that populated PandaDoc, but before I really realized, like, what some best practices were on, like, build the proposal first. What are you actually going to be filling out? What's the content going to be? Stuff like that. And let's just make sure this whole time I was actually on the right. Yes, okay. But yeah, so sales call structure, that kind of went into what we just did. The pricing I still need to figure out. The make.com automation, but yeah, the gratification that you're going to get from actually like seeing how this materializes as well is going to be super valuable. So, all right, it's time to pivot to the make.com scenario. What is a good place to start with this make.com scenario? We should just go one module at a time. Now I could just use regular Claude for this, but Claude Code has been giving me the best output, so that's what we're doing. Okay, Typeform module, watch responses, connect your Typeform account, select the form. Great, since it's already connected, let's move to the AI processing. Claude extract discovery data. So let's create a new scenario. And we'll just do this, we're going to do it from scratch because that's the best way to learn. So Typeform, there we go, boom. Proposal Typeform, form ID. So that's already in there. So the way that I did that on Typeform, so when you create a form, I just have company name, client name, transcript, and these are both simple or short text, and this is long text. And then you go to connect webhooks, and then add a webhook. Let's see, add proposal Typeform form ID. Generous proposals is the name of it, so it'll actually see it there. We're also just going to verify as we go. Connect your Typeform. If not already connected, select your form from the drop-down. Boom, done. Does this look as it should? Okay, so yes, that looks correct. Next step, save. How should I configure the PandaDoc module, and what type of PandaDoc module are we setting up? Doc, create a document. My PandaDoc connection, boom, yep. Document name. Well, what I want to do, because I have this master template, and what I want to do is go to my templates and duplicate this. We're going to call this proposal template. And then we're going to go refresh. So intuitive, dude. Template. Very bright. Okay. So template recipients. Oh, wow. Oh, it's already got the variables in there. Dude, this stuff is so cool. Okay, so create a completion. AI create a completion. Okay, create a completion model. We're gonna do 4.1 system. Add a message, system. Okay. System prompt. You are analyzing discovery calls. Strict formatting for PandaDoc. Okay. User. We can go add a message, role, user, text content, boom. Response format, text, temperature, 0.3. Okay. Save. Top P frequency penalty, and once you click that, you'll see additional to just set temperature 3 and leave the others default. It's not turning green, but I'm guessing that's because if we're mapping from an OpenAI node, that would be green, and Typeform is black, so it's mapping black. Does this look like it's correct now? I'm just figuring this shit out on the fly, so your guess is as good as mine. See, this is what I love about working with AI tools. If you don't know, just ask and it tells you, and you can just figure it out from there. I think the main thing right now that's a barrier that is making it so that this is a profitable way to like build a business is a lot of these, you know, people and companies, they're not willing to put in the time that it's going to take to learn and do stuff like this. So this is a golden age of opportunity when it comes to being able to make the most of what we have available to us right now. what module is actually calling it for. Okay, so I went down a very long rabbit hole and I'm still trying to figure this out, and I think I need to take a break and do something else so that I actually know what's going on. So yeah, we'll pick this up at a different time and hopefully have better luck next time. Day 2. So I stopped recording like 4 hours in. What I stop at, like, let's see, 4 hours in at 8:52. Oh, I stopped later than I thought. Okay. So we're just going to pick up where we left off. I've been needing to make the next video for the channel. This is going to be it, and I'm going to have to cut some of this out because some of this is just tedious and unwatchable. But I got the automation. So I built it from scratch with the instructions. I built it from a blueprint from Maker School, and then I did it all over again after fine-tuning, like, this is what I've done, this is the progress I've made, these are the things that didn't happen. So this is what I have now. And I have been running into issues with the... Wait, how is this? We're just going to run it real quick, because it was running into issues with building the mermaid diagram that's going to be on the solutions page. But we're going to just pick up where we left off and get this shit done and actually get it to execute properly. So, welcome back. Okay, so what I've done since is we've got, let's see, is this the one? Implementation summary, I think this is it. Yeah, so this is my test transcript. So I had Claude Code. Oh, we're back to, now that it's been overnight, because I did this to like 11. So I worked yesterday on a job for a proposal, like a proposal automation for a client, for about 3 hours from 9 to noon, and then just the rest of the day was this shit. So yeah, that's like 11 hours of... I took a break for maybe half an hour thinking that I was going to do something else, and then I didn't. So this is basically my overview of what to do. And so I have like a fake transcript here. So we're going to do company name... deposit. Oh, wasn't listening for long enough. Okay, so what this is doing, just to recap, is we got a Typeform trigger pulling in information so that I can give it the transcript and the name of the company and name of the person so we can spell all that right. We're going to extract the data, generate the proposal content, create a mermaid diagram, and code the mermaid, get the mermaid image because raw mermaid code won't show up correctly in PandaDoc. Upload the file to Dropbox because that's how you have to do stuff like this, and then PandaDoc for the export. What I do need to do is Nick got back to me because I posted last night trying to figure out what's going on. 10 hours. And paste it manually. That's true. Okay. So then where would I put the code? So what I'm thinking is let's not encode the mermaid diagram. Let's just output actual mermaid code that I can copy and paste into mermaid.live, and I will just take a screenshot from there. How do I change the scenario? What modules do I need to delete? So I want to give it some context of what I'm doing. So here, we'll just give it the original prompt. Just to give you as much context as I can about what we're building here, this is my initial prompt I used to get this built. I just want to verify that your to-do list is accurate even after taking in this information. Now I've made some changes since putting this together, but this does give a pretty strong outline of what we're working with. So, encode mermaid, get mermaid image, should delete, was trying to fetch an image. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because each of these was going to okay. Workflow diagram. We don't need that anymore. And if I needed it, it will be in that list. Cool. Map the output code variable diagram. But where is it? Token workflow diagram. Where am I mapping workflow diagram to in the PandaDoc module? I feel like we're really close. Choices, message, content, create mermaid diagram. God, I love AI. Okay, so let's try this. So save. All right. So we're going to run this. Alright, drum roll please. No, not in templates, it's in documents. Just now. Okay, so that needs to be, oh dude. Oh, dude. Okay, so now it's cleanup time. So, okay, so let's do a few things to tidy this up. So we're gonna go and it leaves the template alone. I like that. Okay, so that was one thing. Okay, so I'm going to put some notes together. we can celebrate on one level because we got everything to populate on PandaDoc, but there's still some housekeeping to do. Let's go through these one page at a time. So I'd like it to be more, I'd like it to be written in language that addresses the client I'm presenting to, not speaking about them like they're not there. So this will probably be more filled out if I have more content to go off of. It's funny how, like, I was just pushing and pushing and pushing last night for like another 3 hours after I stopped the video. And then this morning, it's been what, like 15 minutes? I got it to populate. Coffee, 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 coffee. I need new coffee. Okay, so. Okay. Update your proposal module prompts in your make.com scenario. Update the system prompt to include. So system prompt. Don't need that anymore. Why are these here? System prompt for extract, right? Oh, generate proposal content. Perfect. Save. Okay. Next. Okay, so perfect. Sounds good. Now let's go to the solutions page. One thing that I want to touch on, because this is an important part of me getting this right, is my prompt. After multiple iterations of it not quite working, this is how I put this together so that it could hit the ground running and help me get things set up. So I put together, my system prompt. You're a senior proposal automation expert. I created a template version of my proposal I'm using on PandaDoc. I'm going to give you the structure of my discovery calls as well as examples of how I like proposal output to look for each page. Your task is to take all this data and help me map out an existing blueprint I have, so it takes my Typeform data and converts it to a fully filled out proposal in seconds, details below. So I explained how I want the automation to work node by node. I wasn't doing that before. I think that helped this time. So Typeform, OpenAI node that's going to extract the data, one that's going to build a proposal. Still thought we were going to be doing extra mermaid diagram stuff. I said this is how my sales calls go. That way it knows what to listen for. Because the more accurate your data is further down the line, the better. Because it's just going to make everything that comes after that just have, more just accurate information to go with. This is what will show up on the problem page. So I just copied and pasted how I had things on an actual finished proposal. So solution, scope of work, pricing, this is static, so it's not changing. And I left a note with triple backticks, signature section at the bottom with client name to fill in, yada yada. Here's a map of the variables, the way that we were going to have them, because there were some discrepancies on how the variables were written down, so I had to notate that. PandaDoc manual setup guide. So tell me if things like this need to be properly filled in. So this is mapping out the variables. And conditional pricing, formatting information, keep the length of each of these pages as close as possible to what I have. These are the system and user prompts that I have. Make edits to them as needed. And this is what I got from that blueprint from Maker School. And that was it. So that's the whole stack that I gave it as one prompt. And it did a beautiful job mapping things out. It gave me these, a summary for implementation, blueprint for, make.com, so I could fill everything out like node by node. It worked a lot better that way than how I was doing it before, all the variables. Update the proposal module prompt. Proposal module prompt. Okay. Alright, now I'd like you to take a look at the mermaid code. It's not showing up in a way that is readable by mermaid.live. How do I fix this? So what's the module that I'm referencing? The numbers are off because I've made some edits to the scenario. Am I mapping this from the mermaid module I'm in? How do I even reference the module I'm in? It's number 6. Okay, good. Generate proposal content. It's 4. Okay. So I can't edit that there. All right. So I did that change. All right, now I didn't really fill out the payment options that I have pre-written content for. So if we choose the deposit option, it should be giving this information. So that would be in my prompt. Okay. If it's going to be hourly, this is the content that should show up as the description. What I needed to do is reference my hourly rate and do the math for the hours that are estimated. So I need a place in the scenario to put in my hourly rate so that if my hourly rate changes, I can just edit it there and everything else functions properly moving forward. There's a few things for it to work on. When you're the moon. Okay. Add a variable content for hourly rate in your make.com scenario. Update your generate proposal content to handle the pricing logic. Calculate the dollar amount based on hours. Add toolset variable module early in your scenario. Okay. Let's just try it. Set variable. Just one variable. Hourly rate. $52.74. Okay. So then generate proposal content. I probably have to do this as pricing model from here. There we go. Okay, now let's make a more chill, bro. Let's make a more robust transcript. So let's go. Hey there. So I would like to create a mock transcript that would be from me, Russell, to my client, Mitch, so that I have some content for a proposal generator I'm putting together. Okay, so just like I always like to do, we're just going to do this in Obsidian. We're just going to do a new one. We're going to take and scope based on the call. Okay. See the attached file for transcript. Okay. This is good. I've tried this before without giving it like much original content, but the more examples you can provide, the better your output's going to be. So first off, this is Opus, so higher level models will also give you better output, but when you give them like like written content that gives it structure, it just the output is so much better. So this is good. Okay, let's do this. So let's do wait for new data. We're going to do okay, so it figured out the hourly. I also need to one thing I would like to update as well is how the naming convention for the proposal works. I would like the person's name and company name to be in the title of the proposal, and it should pull the core objective the proposal is going to solve. Okay, so let's look at our PandaDoc documents. Okay. That looks better. Discovery to close optimization for financial advisory growth. Results of the pain. Boom. Ugh. Ugh. So the customization process needs, so that needs to be bigger. So what you get, cool. Customization process. Okay. Just piece by piece, you know. Audit of current journey. Phase 2, week 2. That's still not valid code. It seems like it's missing a lot of stuff because usually there is like formatting code and stuff like that. Why is that not here? What is my mermaid code instruction missing if this is the output I'm getting for quote unquote mermaid code? Can you let me know if I need to make any changes to the user prompt or the system prompt? It's exporting in markdown format, but I need raw mermaid code. And instead of just sending this through to my PandaDoc template, I'm just going to email myself the raw code so that I can import it into mermaid.live and take a screenshot and just add that to the proposal manually. Send an email. Make.com does make this stuff a lot easier rather than going and getting like tokens manually like N8N makes you do for some reason. We're gonna go proposal title, content, oh yeah, client name would make more sense. And for the body, oh, mermaid module number, so it's basically the same. Mermaid module is 6. Okay. And then we go into PandaDoc. And remove workflow diagram. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, looks like we need to do this. Let's take a screenshot too of that module. Content. So I think this is just the output is still, let's see, output raw mermaid code starting with graph. We're just going to put this down here too. Let's see what showed up here anyway. So, my documents, 4 minutes ago, that was the one for sure. Bottom line statement is gone. Really? I know this is just fine-tuning at the end, but it's good to see, like, how much you have to kind of just chip away at it piece by piece. Let's see what Claude Code gave me. Its own pricing description instead of using a predefined text. Generate proposal module to user's prompt. Use this exact structure. So, generate proposal, user prompt, right? Yep. This is the text I currently have in that user prompt. Please just give me the full replacement cleaned up. And then let's check Gmail. Okay, it's got... does it have the new lines in there? Okay, perfect. Now in my mermaid diagram output, it's not creating new lines, and I tried to add them manually in the prompt, but this is the error I keep getting when I copy and paste the result that I'm getting emailed now that that's actually coming through. Okay, so proposal content. Okay. The issue is your mermaid code is still being output as a single line and still line breaks. Parse graph manually. I need to add a text parser module. So we're going to be able to test a lot of things this time. We're going to be able to test, does the mermaid diagram work with the new lines and everything? And then does the text parser work in creating those new lines? Does the deposit provide the correct phrasing on the other end and not include hourly? And does the mermaid diagram work when we copy and paste it? So I'm going to need to add a variable as well, right? You know, time estimate range. So that's going to have to come from... Okay, now time estimate range is going to have to be mapped from somewhere. So how do I map that properly so it's something that's listened for in the call? So basically need to have that be a variable. That also needs to be a variable on PandaDoc. time estimate range. Total time estimate. Okay, I already have that as total time estimate. So I do already have total time estimate as one of the variables. So are we good to go there? Yes, total time estimate. Okay. So what we're going to do here is total time estimate. Hourly rate. All right, does this look better in full? I feel like it should work now. Remove the numbered item 3. So the time estimate, now that it's filled out, because I ran it, should be, there we go. Total range, time estimate, hours, time estimate, minimum hours, time estimate, maximum hours. See, the more that I just like immerse myself in this and try things and use real world examples, like the more it makes sense. So, okay. That makes sense, and I see where I can map that correctly now. If I want to wait, I bet you I could figure this out myself. So your investment, so this is pricing option text. Yeah. To the hourly rate in 14, right? My set variables module. This is what I have for the system and user prompt. Please give me the updated system and user prompts for the mermaid diagram generator. There we go. Now it's mapping that. Cool. All right. Making progress. Mermaid.
Okay. Okay, that's still doing that correctly. Let's go back to documents. Still saying financial advisors when it goes to PandaDoc. So I wonder if that's in the PandaDoc module itself. Total investment, payable installments 50 upfront, 50 complete, no hourly overruns. Perfect. Estimated time to complete. Okay, so it brought in the deposit information correctly, but the time frame estimate is still looking buggy. How do I fix that? And then the name. The proposal title. Next, I would like to know how I should change this to reflect the fact that I want it to put There's a variable mapping, PandaDoc is time estimate instead of just the range. Okay, so is this how they should be mapped out to get the time range correct? You see how this is just like picking away just one little chunk at a time. to the character, it has to be correct. So that looks good. Okay. You think it's going to work this time? Let's try. I think we are getting super close. Once we get this to work, with deposit, then we'll test it with hourly and see if it gets that right. We're testing every nook and cranny because this has to be perfect. I have to be able to. So the whole idea is hop onto a discovery call, ask those questions, get the answers, take the transcript, and as soon as we're done with the call, just be like, I'll send you a proposal in a few minutes, which would normally take, like, this takes people 2 to like 6, 7, 8 hours. That's how long it took, like a minute. So let's just look at the output. Fresh. There we go for Mitch Smith. It's doing that correctly. Cool. I need to change the size of that too. And we just need to do first name in here. And that's in the problem statement. Okay, things are starting to really come into place. The problem statement is including the person's first and last name, but we only need the client's first name. So how can we make it so that that happens? Okay. The solution title is also pulling in financial advisors instead of the client name. So whatever we did to just fix the proposal title, we need to do that for this section as well. How do I do that next? Now, for the amount of time it took me to build this, I'd say like 20 hours. This is something I could sell. Like, let's do some math here. So 20 hours. Weird. I guess they are going super minimal with it. So 20 hours times $50 an hour, $1,000. But the amount of time that it would save people, you got to think about that on a long term. Basically, I would do value-based pricing and savings-based pricing. I would sell something like this for $1,500 to $2,500. It depends on how much complexity goes in, because each time we're changing this for somebody, we're going to have to adjust the hourly rate if the person does that, or we may just need like a pricing option breakdown, and maybe an additional module that is that math module it was talking about. So wait, did it not? Okay. For Mitch Smith problem. Opportunity. So we don't really need this little line, so I'm going to delete that. And it's still putting his full name in the problem statement. So let's just wing it here. Solution title, format. So let's see. Critical problem statement when populating problem statement, you must pull the client's first name only from client name. Do not use their full name. Let's just save it like that and see if things like that, see if that's effective enough. So further finance, Rich Smith. Copy. Pricing model deposit. Let's double check in here too. So that was 1209. The mermaid output is just like, yes, I can technically do this and then just do like diagram repair. I don't know how much value that's actually going to add. What I could do is just take the finalized proposal, put that into AI and say, generate me some mermaid code. Like, let's try that. Let's see, download as PDF. And we'll just go I would like you to take my solution and the content provided and create a simple mermaid diagram with 4 to 8 nodes depending on the path of the solution and what's actually needed. Keep it simple and format it in dark mode. Just copy that in case we will be able to use it for future reference. I would like it to go from left to right. I do like the background color and I like the target state color. Actually, it kind of makes sense, red to green. I like that. All right, now I'd like to make whatever adjustment is needed to use this to model our mermaid diagram output. This is the code that's actually generated when I give my completed PDF to Claude with the following prompt. I would like the color scheme I have here to be the default, and I would like it to go from left to right by default. The way you gave this to me just now, am I able to just copy and paste that in as is, or do we need to make any changes to mermaid module? I could come by before. Ooh, okay. I like that. Nice. Cool. So, oh yeah, the mermaid diagram. All right, we're going to save, try this one more time, and then I have an errand to run. Well, this has gotten to a very good spot. I think you get the point. From here, there's only a few things to change, and the value of me like nitpicking and getting all of that done on this video is not that high. So I hope you found this valuable. It's going to take me a long time to edit this, so I'll probably record an intro separately now that I know everything that went into it, but I'll get a refresher on everything that I did. And yeah, let me know if you want more of this type of content. This is just one of the products that I'll be able to sell. There's so many people on Upwork and that I can reach through cold email that could benefit from something like this. And aside from proposal generation, there's also just outreach in general. There's so many ways that you can kind of improve the process that businesses are operating on. So yeah, lots of different AI tools, API calls, webhooks, stuff like that we covered. So yeah, hope that was valuable, and I'll see you on the next one.